I'm just wondering, has anyone heard of this? It's okay if you haven't, because yeah, I didn't know what it was either for, basically until 2 weeks. I've known a little bit about it, but Arabia, what's a lean canvas?
Okay, so I guess like I don't know specifically a lean canvas, but I know like a lean model, like the lean startup, the lean business model, and then also like what a business model canvas is. So I'm gonna take those three definitions and make up some.
Okay, all right. What is
I think it is a way to hmm, maybe like taking like the MVP of like a design process of some sort and like laying it out and just kind of, I guess, looking at like iterations and designing up front, testing your designs, things like that, and then maybe looking at like customers as well. So kind of what we've been doing or building up to and putting it all together into one packaged deal, like a business model canvas, but instead for our business, it's for our design process of our project.
Yeah, that's essentially it. All right. So yeah, we're going to talk about that. I'm going to show like a 4-minute video about it. But just like high level, what is this thing? Let me share my screen. Where's that? Okay. A lean canvas. What is it? Why do we use it? Basically what Arabia said, which is it's a 1-page pre-business plans. People can spend years on business plans. They can spend months with business plans. They can have lots of people. This is sort of like the thing you do before you write that 20-page business plan. And it helps you organize your idea into its key components so that you can investigate your assumptions further, right? So if you say, these are my customers, you can go back and say, are these my customers? Am I sure that these are the right customers? I should think about that some more, right? It helps orient a team to your program or service quickly. So, Arabia and Kenesha's not here today, right? But you could build a little this canvas, show it to her and say, this is where we at, what we think. It isn't a full business plan, but it is absolutely the road to one. Again, it's like the pre-step to building a huge business plan. We're not going to work on a business plan for y'all. That's not what the outcome of this fellowship is. But we want to get you into a place that if you were to want to create a full model business plan, you have so many of the component parts to do that. It centers the customer, the community voices instead of the business, which is your program, and it is problem and solution oriented. So it really is about like defining those solutions. Last thing is that it focuses on the features and assets of the program, product, services that are unique. So what is the thing that you're going to do that makes you so unique that people will want to be a part of it? So I'm going to do a 4-minute video. This is about a restaurant. So again, it's not a perfect one-to-one thing, but I think it'll give you some ideas about what it means to fill this thing out. And it shouldn't really take that long, to be honest. Like it really should be a quick exercise for y'all. So I'm going to show you what that is in this actual canvas. What that looks like for y'all is a worksheet. So it's not going to look like this canvas, but it is all the elements of this canvas in just a worksheet laid out. Okay, so I'm going to run this for 4 minutes, and then you'll be masters of it. All right. All right, ready for a good movie? Get your popcorn out. 4 minutes. Go.
In the previous video, we met Joe. He's a vegan, so he doesn't eat meat, milk products, or anything that comes from animals. He also works at Pozilla, and he has noticed that the only way for a vegan to have lunch in that area is to prepare his own lunchbox, which usually is a drag. So he had an idea. What if there was a lunch restaurant serving vegan food in Pozilla? Is there demand? Would people come? Can he make money? Let's take a look what his idea would look like as a lean canvas. What we have here is a blank lean canvas. Let's start by giving this idea a name. Vegan restaurant in Pozilla. Next, we can go ahead and specify who the customers would be. Vegans naturally, but they also would probably need to live or work in Pozilla. And to further narrow down the first customer spec, it's easiest for Joe to first figure out if other people like him share his problem. This is a good idea since keeping the first customer definition narrow dramatically helps the next steps, and you can always broaden the audience once there's traction. So maybe 25, 35 years old and with reasonably high income. Done. Next up, the problem. Joe already knows that there are no restaurants in Pasila serving vegan food, and at least for himself, it's really annoying to prepare your own lunch every day. What could be the ingredients of the solution? Joe thinks that his customers would appreciate good quality food, and also the restaurant would obviously have to be nearby the Pasila office complexes. And also the service should be quick since usually people have tight schedules during the workdays. The unique value proposition should boil down how you're different from everybody else and what you're worth paying attention to. In this case, it's quite easy to be the best when you're the only one. And for the unfair advantage, Joe's brother happens to be a chef and a vegan himself. Plus, he's also interested in opening his own restaurant. Making vegan food taste exquisite is no simple task, so it's definitely hard to copy. Channels. How can Joe reach the 25 to 35-year-old vegans who work in Pasila? Outdoor ads near workplaces, obviously. Where else are vegans using their time? Vegaanifoorumi for one, Facebook groups. Facebook even lets you target advertisements by age, interest, location, and so on. Joe also thinks that word of mouth has a crucial role in this customer segment. As metrics, it's good to have numbers that are actionable and react quickly. Joe chooses metrics that tell him if his solution box is working. For example, number of returning customers really tell him if people are finding value in his solution. Other metrics that he chooses are quality of food and average turnaround time. At this stage, costs and revenue are best to be left really rough, since all of this is just best guesses. One good tactic is to estimate the customer acquisition cost and the lifetime value per one customer. So how much would it cost to get one customer through the door? And how much would they be bringing money in over the entire customership? Joe's estimate is that it would take 19 euros on average to get one customer. And one customer would visit 30 times on average and pay 12 euros for each lunch. That adds up as 19x as the LTV CAC multiplier, which is in a good territory. It's good to highlight that all of this is just an educated best guess at this stage. To validate whether the canvas has anything to do with reality, Joe will make a series of MVP tests to turn those yellow traffic lights either green or red. In the next video, we will take a look at those MVPs and record our learnings using innovation accounting. In the previous video, it's for Joe to first figure out if other people like...
Okay, so that's Joe. And that's Joe's journey through the business model canvas. So very high level of what are the things. And again, these are guesses, right? You'll go through this canvas and you'll continue to refine it. So just a couple of things that will be different between this canvas and our canvas is, you know, the lean canvas is really focused on a profit margin in businesses. And in this case, we really want to focus, we're going to tackle budget separately next week. So we'll talk about our budgets and mind mapping our budgets for next week. And instead of revenue, we're going to talk about potential partners, funders, and possible future assets that can be part of this work. So that is essentially what we'll be doing. And so I'm going to now drop in your lean canvases. And again, these are all in your folders. You will always find these in your folders. There is just one folder you're noticing this week, and that is the connect the dots and plan it out. So all of your documents are in there. So I'm going to drop these into the chat now. Let me get a moment. Where's my chat? I've lost everything. Okay. And so if everybody can open one of those up for Her Power, Blocks to Beats, Rockway on Beat, and technical assistance. Does everyone have their canvas up? Now, I know we're at the basically the end of our day. So we were going to go out into breakout rooms and sort of start doing this work with y'all. But what I want you to do now is instead open it up, like open up your document now, and we can start walking through it. So I can share my screen. So this will be technical assistance for organizers. Sorry, Marquise, you will be on blast this time around. So I hope you can get in.
I actually prefer, because every time I look at the document, it takes me off. So this works.
So how we will do this, we're going to focus on our community voices first. We are going to understand our program's position second, and then we're going to brainstorm on your program's funding needs. So with everyone's documents open, which I hope you have them up, hope you have them up. We're going to go down to the customer segment. We're going to answer the following question for you, which is, what types of members of your community will be participating in your program and event? So we've left some examples here. So female identifying persons with children aged 18 to 32. We've got single parent families with at least one child, community boardrooms and their technical team, males aged 16 to 24. So go ahead and write down very quickly. We already know what this is basically, but put it in one place. Who are you trying to talk to? Who's your customer? So Marquise, why don't you tell me out loud who your customer is? Oh, you on mute.
All right, public housing residents?
All public housing residents?
No, public housing resident leaders, resident associations and resident leaders.
Okay, so public housing resident leaders, public housing, say that again?
Resident associations.
Resident associations. Anyone else?
Organizers.
All organizers?
No, organizers who are interested in organizing public housing residents.
Who are interested in organizing public housing residents. Is there a location scope you want to keep narrow right now that you want to think about as far as a customer?
We're citywide.
It's citywide. Do you want for your first edition of this to be focused on one area?
Oh, in the initial program, I think we picked Manhattan and the Bronx, and Brooklyn, Manhattan, and the Bronx.
I would love to hear a little bit more prioritization. So Brooklyn, Manhattan, Bronx has basically all of NYCHA housing. So are there any that you would like to focus on, like specifically for this time?
The developments, I picked Mariana Bracetti, where I'm at. That's in Manhattan. I picked Millbrook houses in the Bronx. And Smith houses in Manhattan. There's probably another one, but I remember those two.
Perfect. Is there any sort of constraint on like age or gender or how long they've been in housing or how long they've been part of these resident association boards?
There's no restrictions, but I anticipate that the population I work with will be the 50 to 65 crew.
Yeah, because it's all about kind of technical assistance to the elderly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a great constraint. Herb Power, Rockaway on Beat, Blocks to Beats. Tell me just out loud, do you have some folks that you've got under your customer segments?
Well, this is Hub Power. We have, well, single moms between age maybe 18, 45. Single or married females between their ages, same age. Are we looking for seniors, female seniors?
Okay.
Between the ages of like maybe, excuse me, age like say 50 to 65.
I think that's enough. I really think that's enough. What about Rockaway on Butte? Where are you at? Who's your customer segment? Yeah, Jacobs, this is all on you, friend. Jacobs, you're on mute if you are talking.
Unmute. Okay, here we go. I was thinking youth, parents.
Okay. What age inside?
I would say from like 12 to 18.
Okay, youth age 12 to 15. And that's nice, right?
I think Jamal needs to go on mute because I can't hear you. Thanks.
Jacobs, you said
Yeah,
youth age 12 to 15. Do you mean NYCHA youth?
18.
18.
12 to 18. NYCHA youth.
Anything else?
I was thinking parents.
Parents of these children, of these youth?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Anyone else? And it's okay if there's no one else. It's really, in fact, like having a really scoped customer segment can help you better build programs that are specific to folks. So if you have no others, that's totally cool. Let's see, from blocks to beats, what you got?
We have 2 customer segments. I broke them up into like a little bit more. Oh, you have it right here in front of me. 16 to 24-year-old youth, traditional at risk, and non-traditional at risk is how we've been separating them. Because we've come to the conclusion that people who live in the hood overall, because of systematic things, are at risk. Anyways, living in Tompkins. So the first one, we don't want to separate gender. Before, I feel like we were doing that. Just now I didn't do that because we were talking about like trying to get more girls into the program as well. But they may or may have been to jail, the traditional at risk, been to jail, has a high school diploma or GED, or if they don't have one, must want to acquire one, in terms of like GED, or like some sort of career. One kid or younger siblings is usually what they have. And then in terms of non-traditional at-risk youth living in Tompkins, high school diploma, 1 to 2 years work experience. And that could be like any type of job. And then I was gonna say like little to no college. I don't know how to say that, or like very little college credits, or
Secondary education, maybe?
yeah. That's something that I think in Tompkins, like people go to college, but that population's a lot smaller, and it's like a lot of the time is like one track minded of like going to like CUNYs and things like that, which no, there's absolutely nothing wrong with CUNYs. But yeah.
Got it.
Uh,
Awesome. So it looks like we all at least got some part of this, right? We've got at least our first customer segment for each of these. We've got you started on your worksheet. So if we were to go down to the worksheet, we're doing the same thing as the Canvas, but we're just breaking it out into questions. So the next one would be about the problem. What pains have your community voices experienced without the support of your program? What have your community voices identified as their community's needs? And so these are all things that you've already surfaced in your insights and your pains and gains in your synthesis document. So we're just putting it clear right here, okay? The next section is the solution. So how does your program address the needs and desires of the folks you want to take part of the program? So an example of this would be like, I heard from the community that they need X, Y, Z. My program aims to address this by providing X, Y, Z. And that's how you come together with your insights around what are the pains that your customers are having, where can they connect, and making this solution statement. What is the thing you're going to bring together? From there, you'll then talk about like your program's value proposition. So what makes it unique? So in this case, there are currently no free communal self-care spaces for women in NYCHA to gather. Her Power will create and maintain these valued spaces for our community in order to heal. Right, so we're taking our sentence, we're understanding what we can offer, and we're understanding why that is unique for our community, right?
Can I ask like a clarifying, or
Yeah.
I guess I want to make sure I understand that part specifically. So like when we write the statement, we should like name the problem that we're trying to solve and then our solution.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then we go to the participant channel. So how do you want to engage with people to make sure that they can be part of your thing? What are those key activities? So like if Marquise, you're offering Zoom program for the elderly, you can say like, I want to hit 20 elderly folks by the end of the quarter. I want to create 5 Zoom sessions, you know, whatever it may be. I want to make sure that the people that I work with are able to, you know, create their own Zoom at least once. This is the way in which you can say, you know, if your key activity is like, I want to help Zoom. And then that's how you think about your key numbers. Like, how do you make sure you've helped with Zoom? And then I think this will be the easiest part for y'all, I think, which is your unfair advantage. And that is, what is the superpower you and your group bring? What do you have that is like the thing that no one else has, right? And so an example I put is like, because of my close relationships with the community, the trust and integrity that I bring to my services are highly valued, right? I think Arabia, you could say something like, I grew up in this community and the folks who would be part of this program trust me. Keisha, you could say like, I'm a healer in my neighborhood and they know me as a healer. So they know that things that I offer will be healing for them. Jacob's, yours could be something like, I've skated for 25 years all across New York and I know all kinds of folks. And so I bring this incredible expertise, right? So what is it personally about your team or yourselves that like no one else has, that I don't have, that Ava doesn't have, that Sophanie doesn't have, that Mari doesn't have, all other people who are on this call, we don't have it, you guys do. That's your unfair advantage. That's your superpower. And so this is your worksheet. You'll need to, it's true, I don't know how to skate. I don't know how to skate. I did know how to skate, actually. I did roller derby for a while and then I shattered my leg 10 years ago. So I do not skate anymore, but I used to skate. I used to be tough. I was very tough. Okay, so in between now and next time, so if you were to go to your master guides, and Eva, maybe you can drop all the master guides again. They're in the Design by Community Program Team channel. I've divided everything up of what are you going to do in class on this day? Outside of class, what are you going to do? During office hours, what can we help you with? And so we just finished up this, right? We shared out our Connect the Dots synthesis document. We introduced and worked on our Lean Model Canvas document. And so now, between now and next class, you need to refine your synthesis document. Next session, refine your document around Connect the Dots. Make sure you really finish that up and continue to work on your Lean Model Canvas document with your team, because next week, we'll be sharing out that Lean Model Canvas for feedback. Again, like I said, we'll introduce a new thing. You'll work on it, you'll share it out the next session. So next session, we'll be sharing out our Lean Model Canvas document with each other and getting feedback.